Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today we are discussing retail Karens. What exactly does that mean? Who am I talking about? Well, we'll get right into that. Of course, please do like the video, it really does help, and subscribe. So Karen is a new term that, it's been around for a little bit, but it got way more popularity within this year, and retail Karens in particular are about people that go and complain over the top or just act very entitled. Let's give the exact definition of what a Karen is if you don't know. So this is what Wikipedia says. Karen is a pejorative term used in the English-speaking world for someone perceived as entitled or demanding beyond the scope of what is appropriate or necessary. A common stereotype is that of a white woman who uses her privilege to demand her own way at the expense of others. Now, I have talked about people like this in retail all the time. There are so many people that act exactly like a Karen. And these people, they just think they're above people working in retail just for the mere fact that they're working in retail and they're the customer. They think because they're the customer, they hold all the power over the people that work there. Now, does this mean that every customer that expects good service is a Karen? I don't think so. I think it's a pretty obvious meaning that somebody who's expecting above and beyond service, and when they don't get that above and beyond special treatment, they lash out and they try to find a manager. And that's another thing that is common with Karens. They're the people asking for the manager at every single turn if something is not going their way. And again, this is something I've dealt with and talked about in the past. At GameStop, we would have constant Karens that would come in, and funny enough, they were usually white women, mostly moms, that would try to negotiate the trade-in value of games, and then when they didn't get the value they wanted, they would then ask for a manager, which they're not going to do anything either because that's not how game trade-ins work. It is not a pawn shop. There is no negotiation here. The price given is the price that you're going to get. That's the value of what the item is. But that's just unacceptable. A store's policy is completely unacceptable to the retail Karen. Another common retail Karen that I surprisingly haven't talked about is the one that storms into the store demanding a lower price for a product just because that's how they feel. That's what they feel it's worth. It's so random. It's not like they're trying to price match or anything. Because I worked at Walmart, they did do price matching at the time, and they just made up a value. They said, well, I want to pay this much for this TV. Okay, well, that's not what the price is. If you can find the price somewhere else for what you're asking, yeah, we can match it, but we can't just give you the price that you're demanding. People walk into stores acting like prices are negotiable, and it was a fairly common thing, not just at Walmart, but also GameStop. I don't know if this is a thing that other countries allow, or if there are some stores that negotiate besides pawn shops, but as far as I know, I've never walked into a store expecting the ability to haggle. Have they played Skyrim and Oblivion their whole lives, and that's all they can think of is, oh, I can haggle everything down if my speech level's high enough. You also gotta love the Karens that get really upset when you don't have something in stock. And again, ask for a manager, ask you to check the back 1,000 times, even though your computer gives you an accurate inventory of what you have. I cannot count the number of times that people stormed into GameStop demanding a game that we did not have any left of and just said, go check the back. And I'm like, well, there's no games in the back except for overstock. So a brand new game is not going to be back there. It would be up here, which is why we're sold out. Because our computer says we're sold out, and that means we're sold out. It's as if these people think that you're lying, and that would somehow benefit you by lying about your inventory. I never understood that. How is it helping me or the store if I'm lying about the inventory? It's like that one time at Walmart. This happened a bunch of times at Walmart, but one of them was for a certain DVD. So they asked me if I had it. I knew right off the bat that we didn't because I just stocked the DVDs, and I was like, well, can you check? And okay, so I check out the book. I scan it and I go, see, that we don't have any. And she straight up said, I don't believe you. And then she talked to a manager and said that they didn't trust me. Like, what? Why would I go? I don't know you. Why would I go out of my way to just lie to you about the stock of a DVD? What is wrong with people? I just don't understand their major malfunction. It takes a certain type of person to think that every single person in the world is out to get you, even the people that are just working a minimum wage job at Walmart. Now, it normally wasn't for DVDs that we would get Karens. Usually it was crazy deals on laptops or computers, because occasionally Walmart will put a computer or some sort of electronic at some ridiculously low price, and people will use Brickseek and go on slickdeals.com or something like that, and they'll use Brickseek to check out our local store inventory, and it will tell them if we have it in stock. Now, the thing about Brickseek is it's great, but it's also wrong 9 times out of 10. It is so wrong because it does not update inventory at real time. It doesn't have a direct link into Walmart's inventory. I don't know how it's getting the inventory to begin with, but when I've used Brickseek at my own store and then checked the inventory, the computer or item was not there. This has happened when I've shopped at other stores too. I call them up and go, is this in stock? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess Brickseek was wrong. And I constantly would have people come in with the printout that said we had it in stock on Brickseek, as if a printout is going to convince me what our inventory says is wrong. I don't understand. I don't know why they think that this online website is going to have a more accurate inventory than the actual store itself. Yes, Walmart is a terribly managed store at most locations. Yes, the technology, at least back when I worked, was from like the 80s, and the computers looked like they were out of Fallout. But as old as the technology and as crappy as those computers were, most of the time the inventory was correct. Because if it wasn't correct, we're not going to find the damn thing anyway, because it means it's lost in the crazy Ark of the Covenant back room where you've got the box just being shoved into a room just full of crap where you don't know where anything is unless it's been scanned and placed correctly, which again, it's a poorly managed store, so who knows what's been scanned, what's been put where, and it just becomes a mess. Sometimes there's stuff on top of these huge stacks. Sometimes stuff isn't in the right area. People move things around and not change the bin location, so it's supposed to be there, but it's not because somebody put it somewhere else. It's just, the back room is a mess, okay? That's all there is to say about the Walmart back room. It is a nightmare. You have so many different people of so many different types of intellect, if you know what I mean. So you're going to have a mix of very well organized and just horrendously organized. Of course, there's also the typical Karen, again, at pretty much every retail store, and this happened all the time at GameStop, that will try to bring things back and return them when they're well past the return date. It's like, no. You had 30 days to bring this back. You didn't bring it back. You can't return it. Also, they tried to return game systems all the time, even though they were well past the 30-day window. They were well past any sort of window that GameStop offered, and acted like it was our fault that the system's broken, even though they bought it new, and it was still covered by the manufacturer's warranty. And because it was covered by the manufacturer's warranty, they thought they could just take it back to GameStop, even though every product in the world, especially when it comes to electronics, as soon as that 30-day window closes to that store, it's always on the manufacturer and not the store to replace it. Now, my least favorite Karen of all is one that I've mentioned already, and that's the one that wants to talk to the manager. A lot of these examples that I've given have had the Karens that want to talk to the manager. Now, why is that type of Karen the worst? Because it doesn't matter what they're asking for. The fact that they want to talk to a manager, 9 times out of 10, they're trying to get somebody in trouble. When you are working in retail, you're already dealing with not a great job. You're dealing with lots of annoying people like said Karen. So when they are going out of their way to make your job more difficult and to try to get you chewed out, that just shows what quality of person they are. They care so little about you that they want to have your day get worse for little to no reason. I will never for the life of me understand why people will go out of their way to make other people more miserable. Why not go out of your way to make people happy? You know, why not be positive? Why can't you talk to the manager and tell them how great they are? I mean, think about how many times in your life, if you work with the general public, how many times you've had a customer say, I want to talk to your manager to tell them how amazing you are? It's incredibly rare. Yes, it has happened for me, and I know it's happened for others, but it's such a rare occasion that somebody will go out of their way to do something in a positive light. How often do people go fill out those reviews at whatever store you work for or whatever restaurant you work for and give you a positive, glowing review? Most of the time it's negative. It seems like it's in people's nature to just be negative. And it's really sad, you know? I mean, I'm of course guilty of this. I'm negative about a lot of different things, but I've been trying to be more positive and trying to go out of my way to leave more positive reviews for these people and to let their managers know, hey, this person's doing a great job, because a lot of people out there are doing a great job and do deserve it. Now, that being said, there are definitely retail workers, restaurant workers, and all that are awful. I'm never saying that, hey, everybody's perfect and everybody deserves praise and love, but I do think that there are a lot of people out there that deserve more respect. And that's the problem with Karens and why I'm so glad it's becoming more of a thing. I feel really bad for everybody named Karen, but I love the fact that people are being shamed for being entitled, for being terrible to people working with the general public. I feel like I've been striving towards more and more of the general public to be like this, to shame those that are just making people's already miserable jobs worse. I've been trying to have people reflect inwardly, look at themselves. How do I treat others? How do I treat these people that are helping me at this store? How do I treat people that are delivering my food to me at restaurants? And I want people to think about how they interact with other people on a day-to-day basis. Because a lot of people, I mean, you'll never see these people again, so you think it's okay to treat them poorly. But it's not. Just because you don't know these people, just because they're not your friends, just because you'll never see them again does not give you an excuse to treat people poorly. Just because somebody works in retail or a fast food restaurant does not mean you're a better person than them. You are not above anybody else. Wealth, class, social status, all these different things are just meaningless bullshit. And I feel like everybody should disregard it because we're all people and we should treat each other as equals. I feel like that's something that should go without saying, but unfortunately, I mean, there's a reason this Karen term exists, is because there's so many people that don't treat everybody as equals. And for a job that's already incredibly stressful, being even more stressful than ever, especially when these holiday seasons are coming up, all these different sales, all these different huge events, it's only going to get worse for them. So like I said, think about all that the next time you're out shopping. Don't be a Karen. Comment down below if you've ever been in a store and seen a Karen, or if you've worked in a general public job and had to deal with a Karen and what they were like and how other people responded around them. Because it's funny enough, I've had other customers call out Karens in stores, and I absolutely love it. Another example, to those wonderful people that are still watching, of a insane Karen was one during Black Friday. This was many, many years ago, but I'll never forget. We were all waiting in line, waiting for that time to be called to open a game cardboard box thing. And of course it gets ripped to shreds as soon as the time is called. But before it strikes whatever time it was probably midnight or something. Before midnight strikes and before Black Friday actually starts, we're all calmly waiting in line. And somebody's trying to cut in front of us. And we say, no, the line's behind us. And okay, so the kid lines up behind us. And we're talking with the kid, and the kid's cool. And then the mom comes back with a couple of associates for Walmart, and they're taking off the plastic wrap and they're getting the game that the kid wanted. And we're like, hold up, wait a minute, what's going on? And this Karen pointed us out, all the people in the front of the line, and said they were shoving my kid, completely false, and they were not letting him get the game. And every single person in that line shouted, that's bullshit. They called that Karen out so bad that the associates apologized to the line and told her to leave the store. I feel really bad for the kid because he was very well mannered. He did not take after his horrible mother at all. But Good God, justice was served. I hope the kid learned a lesson that you cannot act like that, even though, I mean, he wasn't acting poorly at all, but he definitely learned a huge lesson from his parent acting like a jackass. Hopefully that Karen learned her mistake, will not do it again in the future, but unfortunately, I feel like most people don't change for the better. At least, not for a very long time. So thank you again for watching. Like the video if you guys liked it. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a fantastic day. See you, everybody. Today, I'm wearing a new hat because I forgot my other one at Steven's house. And yeah, I also got a haircut. But I don't know. It was kind of messy. I wasn't sure how I felt about it before doing the video. So I left the hat on. So all of you wonderful people that are sticking past the fade out get to see my horrible messed up hair. I am drinking today Boulevard Brewing Co. Space Camper. Interesting name. It's a cosmic IPA. It's only 5.9%, which I kind of like these lower percentage ones because you can have a couple and be fine. Whereas if I have a couple 7%ers, I am done and I can't really do anything. Though people do enjoy it on stream, and you should come to the stream, which is tonight, by the way. And they really don't really describe what it's like. It just says juicy hop blast. And you know what? That's accurate, I guess. You know, you don't need a paragraph written if you can describe it in 3 words. And I think they do.